This is Support is Sexy, episode 442, and we're continuing our series on building your team. Today, we're going to talk about where do you need support? Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I bring you inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and lessons to help you take your business to the next level. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm happy to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. And today we are continuing our series on building your team. Now, yesterday we talked about how to re-engineer your vision, right? Your vision down to your mission, down to your goals, and then thinking about areas where you need support. Today, I want to drill down on where do you really need support? Thinking about places in your business where, maybe you can do some of the things that you're doing, right? So this is once you've already started, maybe you're into your business for a year or so. You're starting to see the things that you spend a lot of time on, or you might not even realize how much time you're spending on things. We're going to talk about that. But you're starting to know that you can do something. Maybe you're great at doing it. Maybe you're just good at doing it, but you're used to doing it. But you could probably use support in those areas that you're holding on to, that you're either unwilling to let go or afraid to let go. And, you know, I've heard it said, if you can find someone who can do the job at least 80% as well as you need to delegate it, because you can train someone or help someone grow that extra 20%. Sometimes we think, I have to find the perfect person who can do this exactly like I do it. Well, one, you'll probably never find the perfect person who does it exactly like you, even if you train them to the T. They'll be close, but they're still going to have their own way. Second, you probably don't want someone to do it exactly like you. Of course, you're going to outline your vision, what you created, your rules, or the way that you do whatever it is, so this person can learn the quote unquote right way to do it. But they may have some other ideas. That's the whole reason to bring on a team, right? They may have some other ideas or other ways that they can try to do things that could help you that you might not have even thought of because you're so deep in the weeds. So that's why bringing someone in from the outside is not only helpful to support you in doing whatever you're doing, but it also gives you a fresh perspective. So today, as we're trying to figure out where in your business that you could use support, where you could use someone added to your team, I want you to do a little exercise with me. So if it's safe to do so, if not, you can do this later. Just listen for now, right? If it's safe to do so, pull out a piece of paper, not on your phone, an actual pen and a piece of paper. Yes, pull it on out. We're going to create 3 columns on the page, okay? 3 columns, long columns, so you can write some ideas, some thoughts, some things down. One topic in each column. See, I haven't used paper in a long time myself, right? 3 columns on the page. All right. So in the left column, I want you to write down all of the quote unquote regular tasks that you do in your business. So the left column, what are the tasks that you do every day in your business on a regular basis? Not, of course, for most of us, the day as an entrepreneur is a roller coaster. It changes. Someday something comes out of nowhere that you have to deal with. That's not necessarily an everyday thing. Some examples for me is answering emails. I mean, from the basic things to editing the podcast, I delegated that recently, but editing the podcast, booking guests, again, delegated that recently, doing social media, what else? Anything like that, that's a regular part of your business. Don't rate it yet as far as priority, just write it down. If this is something that you spend more than a few hours on a regular basis each week, I want you to write that in that left-hand column. Now, in the middle column, I want you to rank the level of importance that you feel this task or duty or responsibility has to your business. Let's say rank it from 1 to 5. I feel like 1 to 10 is so far. 1 to 5, 5 being this is super duper important. 1 being, okay, maybe checking my emails isn't something that I necessarily have to do, or checking the business emails. Let's say your info at your domain name, email. Don't think you're personal. You might think, oh no, I have to do that. So let's say 1 to 5 is the range, right? 5 being super important. This is something that you feel like you really have to do, that you're the only person, maybe meeting with other CEOs. Yes, maybe that's something that you want to do in person, but be honest. That's the thing. Don't just think, oh, well, this is something I'm good at, or even letting go of things that you quote unquote enjoy. Don't get tied to things you enjoy. You have to be willing, in order to grow, to let go of some things, even things that you enjoy doing. So this is not about that. This is about putting a ranking based on things that you feel super important to your business and then that you have to do. So if it's super important, is it something that you have to do, or is it something that you can train someone and they can help do it, possibly do it better, but at least they can take it on? So that's what this second column is, ranked by level of importance of how important it is to your business and how important it is that you do this task. Now, in the third column on the right-hand side, I want you to write down how many hours per week you spend on this project or on this task. So for me, editing the podcast, this was something I did with my coach, Margot, who I talk about all the time. How much time am I spending on certain things in my business, such as at the time editing the podcast? Gosh, I can't remember how many hours it came out to, but it was something ridiculous, like 3 hours spent on each episode. I do 5 a week. That's a lot of time just on editing. Whereas I could delegate that to someone, as I have, who does that for a living. This is their area of expertise. One, it's probably going to be a lot better than when I did it because they're a professional. Also, I've alleviated hours from my time that I can really focus on growing the business. So that's something that is a 5 in level of importance. But if I think about the level of me having to do it, it's a 1. Understand? And then I look at this column 3 that we're doing now. How many hours was I spending on doing that thing? So you're looking at what you've listed there. Don't think about how important it is. You've already written that, but then level or amount, of time that you're spending on whatever that task is, and be honest with yourself. So for example, don't cheat your hours of the time that you spend on this. So if you have a physical product that you have to package and that you have to mail out, don't forget to count the amount of time that you spent driving to the post office, or even if you do it online and someone comes and picks it up. That counts too. That's not downtime. You're still spending time doing stuff. The time you spend waiting at the line if you are at the post office. All of that, try to take it into account. We know it's not going to be exact, but don't cheat yourself and say, oh, it only takes me this amount of time for people to buy something, or for me to set up the website, for me to do this. Think about all those other hours that you're forgetting to add in. That's time that you spend on this task that you could potentially delegate to someone on your team. Now that you have those 3 columns, you have the left column of all the different duties that you do on a regular basis. Again, not these one-off things, something that if you were to assign it to someone, is something they would do on a consistent basis, even if not every day, but just something that you need support with. Then in the middle, you're looking at ranking how important it is to your business and how important it is that you do that thing. Now, when you're looking at how important it is that you do that thing, look at the things that are 3 or under on your list. You were honest, right? You're not just putting the things that you like at a 5 because you want to do them. You need to be able to let go. So things that are 3 or under when it relates to you having to do them. And then look at how much time you're spending on those things. Are you spending more than 10 hours a week on whatever that task is? Again, I can't really judge how much time you should be spending on it because obviously I don't know exactly what you wrote. So you have to be really honest with yourself, or get someone to help you, a partner, a coach, another entrepreneur, to look at this and say, look, this is the amount of time I spend on these things. Where do you think I should bring someone in? That's actually a good challenge. If you know someone, if you're in a group, if you're in the Support is Sexy Mastermind, post it in there and people can jump in, not only with what you should delegate, but probably some people that you can talk to in order to help you. But whatever you do or however you do it, get some help. Make sure that you are being honest with yourself about this list. and then look at the places where you can get support, places based on numbers, because you want to have something concrete that you can look at and see, wow, this is how much time I'm spending on this. And as they say, when you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else, right? People talk about that when they talk about doing a lot of events or speaking engagements, or when you start getting the opportunities rolling in, which is great, but you have to keep in mind every yes you say to that kind of opportunity, every yes you say to a meeting, you are saying no to something else, because you just cannot be in two places at one time. So you want to really value your yes as much as you value your no. Think about that when you think about tasks that you do in your business as well. If I say yes to doing 60 hours a week or however many it was of podcast editing, I'm saying no to a lot of stuff because I just cannot do everything at one time. I can try to squeeze it all in, but this is why I've talked about this before. I would hit a wall occasionally, just have headaches and be stressed and just completely tired and burnt out and have to take a couple of days off, as opposed to if I were delegating some of those things, I wouldn't be as stressed out or pushing myself as hard to do these tasks that can be delegated, and I could focus that energy instead on things that would really grow the business. And this is the mentality that you have to take if you want to be an owner, not just an operator in your business. In the beginning, as we talked about, you are an operator. You're an everything, right? You're doing everything in the business to make it work. You and your partner or partners or whoever, everybody's doing everything. You're getting this thing off the ground, all hands on deck. When you get to a certain point, especially if in your vision, part of your vision is to grow, you have to think about how can you get support. Now, some of these things on your list might be intern things. Other things might be paid people. Other things might be collaboration. So we're going to talk about that more. Actually, I think that's on the schedule for tomorrow. Talk about that more, how to find ideal team members. Right now, though, I want you to just look at where are the areas where you can get support. And just remember, you don't have to do it all at one time. So for me, for example, now that I have business coming in, different things that I'm doing, consulting, Girl on Podcasts, fantastic clients there. I'm so excited about these women and sharing their stories. They're such superstars. So different things are happening now with my business. Thank God. Revenue is coming in. The first thing I thought of was, how can I get support? In fact, I don't think of any new ventures now without thinking, what are the ways that I'm going to get support for this business, this idea, or this venture? But I'm at the point now where I can start bringing in people, but I'm not going to do as much as I want to. I'm not trying to do it all at one time. You have to do it slowly so that you see what's working, what really makes sense. You don't want to strain yourself financially trying to build a team with every bit of resources that you have coming in. So it is a process, but at least if you have it on paper, you can also keep these people in mind, these positions or these tasks that you need completed. And I will tell you, the right people will show up. But we're going to talk about tomorrow how to find the ideal people for your team. Not perfect, but ideal means this is a great person. They fit into my company. They fit into the culture. This is what I want them to do. They're able to do this. I'm able to train them. A lot of other things go into that, but we sometimes, again, hold on too tight, trying to hold on and hold our tasks precious when we can really delegate them. So we're going to talk through that tomorrow. But hopefully this exercise was helpful for you in visualizing even if you're not building your team, hopefully you are, but even if you're not at that stage yet, overall, this should help you see how much time you're spending on tasks that you may need to cut back, adjust. Be honest, did you have social media on this list? Now, for a lot of us, I know as an online entrepreneur, social media is important to my business, but I had to look at how much time I was spending personally on social media at a point where I removed it from my phone. I think this was before the holidays. I removed all social media from my phone. I still go on desktop or on my laptop, check messages and that kind of thing. But the time that I spend doing it has been cut down significantly because I don't automatically do it on my phone because it's not there. In the beginning, it's a little bit tough because you're so used to doing it. After a while, you realize how much time you get back in your life from not having it on your phone. And I may have mentioned this before, I got that idea from Laura Roeder, who is the founder of Meet Edgar, which is a social media management tool. And I thought it was just fascinating that she says she doesn't have social media on her phone, and she's the head of a social media company. It just, for me, was like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. So I tried it and I love it. I just added Instagram back on there because I'm starting to post more now about remote year and some other things, and answering a lot of responses to things that are posted by the company I'm working with on Support is Sexy. So that's why that's there. But I don't even, now that I've broken the habit of checking it all the time, even that I don't go on all the time. So I mention that to say, if social media is something that you spend a lot of time on, you need that on this list. Talk about, or think about rather, the number of hours that you spend on that. Is that something you're going to delegate, or is that something you just need to cut back on because you're spending time saying yes to that and saying no to something else? All right, so hopefully this was helpful. I can't wait to hear feedback from you. Let me know at Elayne Fluker at Support is Sexy on social media. I want to hear what you think. Okay, come back tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this, in the next one. Come back next episode, and we're going to talk more about building your team. Until then, always remember that you deserve support, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.